I would like to ask Laurilee Thompson now to be our next speaker. Laurilee is a former commercial fisherman and co-owner of the Dixie Crossroads Seafood Restaurant. A fifth-generation Floridian, Laurilee has witnessed the former glory and current demise of the Indian River Lagoon, once one of North America's most biologically diverse estuaries. Founder of the acclaimed Space Coast Birding and Wildlife Festival, she has served on numerous boards and commissions dealing with fisheries, environment, tourism, land use and growth management, and coastal restoration and resiliency. Laurilee, thanks for being with us today.
Well, thanks for inviting me. It's kind of overwhelming to be included with such an amazing group of people. I've been involved in the seafood industry for nearly 70 years now, and I'm lucky because I got to experience the Indian River when it was crystal clear and full of life. And it breaks my heart now to see what the river has become. 40 years ago, my parents started a seafood restaurant in Titusville. Their menu mainly consisted of fresh Indian River product. Today, I serve nothing from the Indian River I serve nothing from the Indian River. I can't even get local mullet. And gear restrictions, they haven't worked because our water is a toilet, and and stopping people from fishing doesn't work. 15 years ago, there were a half dozen redfish tournaments every year that were based out of Titusville, and fishermen filled our hotels and restaurants. It's been a long, long time since we've enjoyed the excitement of a fishing tournament with all the money that it brings to the communities where they have them. Numerous celebrity fishing shows formerly filmed here. The publicity was amazing, and people came from all over the world to fish. It's been many, many years since a TV show's been filmed here. 150 fishing guides once held conditional use permits to take their clients into the waters of the nearby Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. Their clients spent millions of dollars in our community. Today, less than 50 guides hold permits to fish the refuge. Most of the guides that used to work here, they've moved to other places where they have clean water and they can catch and keep fish. The response from regulatory agencies has been to lower bag limits and establish seasons. You can't keep a redfish from the Indian River if you're lucky enough to catch one now. Gag grouper, they're out in the ocean, but they're soon to be placed under draconian reductions in bag limits. Guess what? Gag grouper use oyster beds in estuaries when they're babies before they move out into the ocean. And they're essential to both our commercial and our recreational fisheries. Fishermen from all over Florida, they've been sounding the alarm in vain for decades over estuarine water quality. They beg for something to be done about the ever-increasing pollution that pours into Florida's waterways. But it's easier to stop folks from fishing than it is to clean up the mess where the fish live. In 2016, I went kayaking in the river with a small cut on my right foot, and I got my feet wet, and I ended up going to the wound care center at Advent Hospital twice a week for the next 4 months as a result of the infection that I got. I almost lost my foot. In 2020, Titusville had a massive sewage spill that went into the river. 7 million gallons, that's what they admitted that they dumped. I believe it was much, much more. The stench from sewage and thousands of dead fish, it was unbearable. Residents and visitors were absolutely appalled. So when warning signs were finally put up, one teeny tiny little sign was posted by a dumpster at a nearby beach that's heavily used by water sport lovers. And that beach is a half a mile long. A little boy who went paddleboarding, he got a bacterial infection that's caused by sewage. Now he's paralyzed and he'll have lifelong health issues from swimming in the Indian River. Other people have lost their lives and limbs from recreating in the Indian River. So guys, these issues, they're not just confined to just the Indian River. They exist all over our state, in our estuaries, our lakes, our rivers and springs. I've attended numerous city council, county commission, and tourism meetings trying to get our leaders to understand the impact that unclean waters have on my business and others. My words fall on deaf ears. How can they not understand that Florida's water quality is critical to our tourism industry? Visitors When they come here, they want to eat local Florida seafood. They don't want to eat the same imported stuff they get at restaurants where they came from. Everybody wants to swim in safe waters. Waterfront homeowners, they want to fish from their yards and not have dead manatees washing up. As the word spreads about the deplorable condition of Florida's waterways, we won't be able to attract workers for our industries. They will go to other places where it's safe to play in the water and eat the fish that they catch. They don't have to come to Florida where you can die just from going swimming. Dirty water is bad for tourism, it's bad for business, and it's bad for our residents. It's time for our leaders to recognize that not everyone who comes to Florida goes to theme parks. Clean water is crucial to our state's economy. I believe that the Florida Right to Clean Water constitutional amendment is the only path forward. Nothing else has worked. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurilee.